Is it really dangerous to fly on the modern commercial airplanes? Let's find out. Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and I'm the Airline Pilot. Well guys, I want to be really honest with you. Flying in any sort of means is unsafe. In commercial, in military, in general aviation, it is not safe for us, as well as many things in our life. You know guys, aviation is kind of the risky thing, but we take this risk for the comfortable and fast transportation. Even though there were thousands of the aviation accidents and deadly disasters in our history, but still somehow we fly. Moreover, the modern day aviation is considered the safest way of transportation. But on my personal opinion, I think we turned to the wrong direction. Guys, you might think that aviation is getting better with each year, but actually it's not true. So according to the latest statistics, even during the COVID period, the rate of the aviation accidents and incidents increased gradually. It happened during the same period we had a drop in commercial air transportation. So is there something wrong with the aviation development? As I told you, I think we turned to the wrong way if we speak about the safety. Such a nice weather and someone is flying out there on a small piston engine aircraft. I'm quite jealous. I can tell you as a guy from the industry that this system is not perfect. The training for pilots isn't perfect. The manufacturer produces not perfect airplanes. But the thing is that it is impossible to make this system perfect. We need to calculate the risks and what we get for those risks. If you are out of water and thirsty, you take the risk for drinking the water because it's not clean, and afterwards you might have some of the circumstances. But actually in general it saves your life. The similar stuff is happening in aviation. But anyways my friends, when we fly we take risks. Even in commercial. For what we take this risk? Well, basically for humanity to evolve. When you travel somewhere, it's not just your personal business as you may think so. By traveling you also develop the global economy. So aviation is the key tool for the world globalization and basically for the future. But today's problem for aviation is the economy itself. So I can see one single big problem. Commercial is now more important compared to safety. We clearly see it on the aviation accident rate and also big scandal accidents that happened to the Boeing 737 MAX, which uncovered lots of the interesting information about Boeing company. I'm not saying that every airline takes profit first, but we are very close to it. Believe me, I used to work for many different airlines. I remember how the new airplanes from the factory were delivered to our airline, but there were some issues with TCAS on one of the airplanes. Sometimes it was working, sometimes not. By the time we were flying to one of the busiest destinations, the Moscow city Vnukovo airport, crowded airspace and lots of the traffic, and you have TCAS failure sometimes. You know what happened when I put the TCAS failure? Technician came, he performed the test, he resetted the system, and it started to operate. But later on in the next flight it failed again, and we are speaking about the modern airplane, the new airplane right from the factory. Later on this problem became known in our airline. The airline technical management knew about the case, but they didn't do anything. There were even some talks not to write this defect in a maintenance log. TCAS is very important and the required system to operate. It helps to avoid mid-air collisions. But here the airline management didn't want to ground the airplane because you know we just started the operation from Zhurlana airfield on new airplanes. They put lots of the money for the advertisements for the passengers. We just received a new aircraft and failed with it. So what would media and competitors say? Who will fly on our airplanes if they break down in a week? I just told you one story of what happened throughout my aviation career. So definitely I think that we turned to the wrong way. The road is very bumpy and narrow. It will not let you make any sort of the mistakes, otherwise you go down the cliff. If you overregulate any sort of the system, finally it may break down because it could be very complicated. So complicated that it would be impossible to find a way out from those regulations, and the directives in some of the cases might cancel each other. Let's take for example a pilot profession. I may tell you with 100% certainty that it's impossible for pilot to know everything. Everything that system anticipates for us to understand and know. Let's take, for example, a European pilot license. To get it, you need to pass the theory with around 16,000 questions. Some of those questions are really out of surface. You'll never meet them in your flight career. I mean, there are some of the necessary subjects and the necessary data that you should know as a pilot. But ask every pilot who obtained a license in Europe especially, most of that data they never used in their professional career. At the same time, for example, FAA regulations are much more easier for pilots. And there you'll have less water in a theory, so less questions, much less compared to European pilot licensing. We see that the airplanes become more and more modern, so pilots should not only be able to fly those airplanes, but also to operate them correctly. I mean, all of the modern systems. Judging on my experience, flying is the least complicated thing in the modern aviation for a pilot. You probably know what happened to Alaska Airlines recently with that door thing. It wasn't manufactured properly. Those pins were just missing. And do they really care? I think on the paper they do, but in reality, safety management system struggles. It's not only about Boeing, by the way. It just shows us the real problem. Especially with Lion Air and Ethiopian crash. Well, it's not just Boeing, I would say, but the whole system. Manufacturers, airlines, pilot training, everything turned to the wrong way. And we see it ourselves. FAA and all of that stuff, well, they have the virus of bureaucracy, I would say. The real action hasn't been done properly. Let's go back for a minute for Alaska Airlines accident. Even for me it was understandable that Boeing 737-900ER also should be grounded, even though it is the NG airplane, not the Boeing 737 MAX. But it has the same door construction, like Boeing 737 MAX-9. But for the whole week after the accident happened with Alaska Airlines, FAA didn't issue any kind of the airworthiness directive towards the Boeing 737 NG airplanes 900. The system is very volatile. We know how hard it is sometimes for pilots to work for particular airlines. For example, those airlines which are always in a rush with their schedule. I do not want to mention any names in this video, but I think you understand what airlines I'm saying about. The maximum taxi speed, no, they don't care. They rush to be at gate at the proper time. They rush with cockpit preparation and basically everything. And the crazy schedule for pilots sometimes may bring the situation close to aviation accident or serious incident. Money and bureaucracy. Money and bureaucracy. You know, pilots are the last bridge of safety on board, and I just feel that we are pressed a lot with all of this system. The manufacturer corporations and aviation authorities really want to put lots of the pressure for this last border of defense. Alright, so what should we do then? Honestly guys, I'm out of clue. Oh shit, there is the tar from this pine tree. I just ruined my jeans, but anyways my friends, something should have been done with aviation long time ago. But in a modern system I don't see the way out from this situation, because what matters now? Mostly profit. This competitive environment created this situation. Airlines are there not to deliver us from point A to point B. They are there to earn the money using the aviation transportation. Aviation is still the safest way of transportation, but because of the system faults, we sometimes have the aviation accidents. The system will never be perfect, but now I would say it's far to be perfect. It was my own opinion, guys, as an airline pilot. Thank you for watching this video.